Hello and welcome back to my channel, Meandrous Plays. Today we are going to start another Mind Over Magic game, just because I didn't feel like I gave it a good enough showcase, and I do really enjoy it. We found out I am not good enough at this game for relentless difficulty, so to really give a good show of what this game is about, we're going to play on standard. I'm going to keep it on the balanced architectural style for this time. I'm going to turn off tutorial goals. Keep strategic battles in. All right. So one of the main differences with... I was going to randomize the name, but Bone Craig Sanctum, I don't mind that. We're going to keep that. One of the main differences, we start with 3 staff instead of 2. We are going to switch this one to lightning, earth, and our third mage, we're going to probably have nature to help us chop trees and stuff a little better. I actually like Victor's stats here because they got an S in maximum mana. That's going to let them keep working longer without recharging. Let's go ahead and re-roll this one. I want an S in something here. Preferably speed. There we go. Perfect. I like that. That'll work just fine. We want an S in max HP and preferably a B or higher in mana there too. It was an S in HP, but really bad. Okay. Now we have a B in max mana, so this is really good. We're going to keep that. That all works for me. Let's found this school. First things first, we're going to pause it. That's what we have to do. Most games, for some reason, don't start paused. And you really should pause it right away. First thing you have to do in this game is repel the fog. And the person that repels the fog gets a temporary bonus for this first one. And I'm going to have this font steward perform the first repel fog ritual at the mana font. So they gain extra conviction. And because they are our tank for combat, they're going to be damaged quite a bit. So the extra conviction to help balance that out will be useful. Now we can unpause it. Perfect. Let's go ahead and set our priorities for mages. I do like all of them to have medical rest very high. And aid, it involves bringing mages at death's door to medical beds. I usually have the founder pretty high on that. I also have them high for hunt, just because I like to have somebody on hunt. So, because when I mark like a dire rat for hunting, I want to kill fairly quickly. Beyond that, Ned is our lightning mage. We're going to have high priority for research for them. Our nature mage is going to have high priority for chop, wands, and tend. Right now, chop is the most important for them. Harvest and tend is for growing. This is for harvesting like gut berries. Tend is to speed up, like basically, yeah, plant seeds and fertilize crops. It's a better description than I would have. Mining is really important. So is constructing. So they're going to be a higher priority for them. All right. I think that should work for starting stuff, except for let's set meals right away. Ned can eat dire rats, so actually we don't have enough foodstuffs available to make that make sense. So let's start by mining some rock, chopping some trees, and probably even harvesting some gut berries. We'll speed this up. All right, now we have additional meals available. We don't want Ned to be eating our gut berries at all, because they can just eat dire rats and be perfectly happy with that. So that's honestly better. All right, we got some basic materials, and we get them a lot quicker for the simple fact that we have 3 starting staff. That makes a huge difference. We're going to send our spiral staircase right here, I think. And right outside of it, we'll have our first room. We'll also have a room on this side. One thing we want to make sure we do is put hallways in between each wall to start with. A floor there, floor there, floor there. Excellent. We also start with basic cots available, so we are going to build some cots right away here. We can't just pause construction. Oh, that actually, we can set it to never right now for priority. I hit P for pause, and it actually was a hotkey to set it at 4, and that was not what I wanted. I'm kind of confused how that hotkey did that. Regardless, we might want to consider pushing the fog back again. It does require some gut berries and some wood, but it'll buy us more time. I think we're going to do that. Well, let's finish this room first. All right. Now we can do that. And remember, we're going to want lighting to keep void shrooms from spawning. All right. Not looking bad. Not bad at all. We now have the viscera required to build these wall torches, which, like I said, is completely necessary to keep void shrooms from spawning and ruining our day. Oh, now I don't have the viscera for that. That makes sense. We're going to unmark one of these for hunting so that there's a rat for Ned to eat. All right. I think we're about at that point where we are going to want to look at building the arcane secretary. That's our research station. That enables us to unlock everything else. Let's check how lit this room is. Well lit. Good. No void shroom will spawn there. Void shroom will spawn in this one unless we build another wall torch. Blocked by stairs. Okay, can go right there then. This first night goes so much smoother with 3 staff instead of 2. You can just harvest your materials and start building rooms so much quicker. Arcane Secretary is ready. Let's just put that back here in this corner. And yep, fog advanced. It's still nice and far out there. So that's good. That's fine. Harvest some of those because we are going to need some at some point. The Phoenix flowers as well. Ice flowers. Probably going to need more gut berries too. Surprised we're not sleeping quite yet. What's our schedule look like? It is sleeping time. Now they are sleeping. Now remember how much progress they make depends on their skill in the task. This is only going up by 1. per cast, and that's because our founder only has a skill of 1 in all magic types. All right, so for our first... Yeah, I think for our first research, we're just going to do put stuff here, which lets us have some chests. And then probably get the ability to plant gut berries would be good as well. After that. All right. So thankfully, even though our founder, their skills suck, they don't need to sleep, they don't need to eat, and they can fly right through walls and floors. So they definitely still have their uses. Later on, once we get a little bit more staff, we're going to spread out our schedules a little bit more in order to have some working at night as well, especially later on dark mages. They will prefer to work at night. Sleep time almost over. They'll keep sleeping until their sleep bar is full or their schedule stops at sleep. So, and the better the bed, the faster that sleep meter will fill up. Okay, they now prefer recreating in a room together. We don't have recreation right now. It's kind of hard to keep that need fulfilled, so I usually just leave it alone until a little later, at least. Materials. We got decent amount of stone and wood. I think it's safe, actually, to keep expanding a few rooms up here. Again, we're going to put hallways because they're free. Good. All right, so we now have some chests. So let's go ahead and get some chests going. Just so that our mages will have the ability. Actually, I think I want that at the exact foot of the bed. To store some stuff. Get this stuff out from outside and inside so it's protected from the rain. I find at least that around the staircase is a pretty useful place. They have the ability to store stuff. That should be enough storage space for now. So since we had queued up another research, they are going right into that. Oh, but now it's done. So now we need to figure out what else we want. I really would like medical beds unlocked. So let's go with that next. And then it would be nice to have better beds and some windows available. Bookshelves, all of that stuff will be nice. So I will queue up that as well. That should keep us busy for a while. So I mentioned the reason we started with a nature mage was to help us chop trees and gather resources. Earth mage was to help us mine resources and build. And lightning mage was to help us research faster. All very useful things. Okay, we have the ability to plant some gutberry planters. I think that would be a good idea to ensure that we have some gutberries growing. Because remember, we do need them for our repel fog ritual. Speaking of which, probably not the worst idea to do another one of those rituals. So I think this room here, is going to be my medical room. So let's go ahead and look at Book of Rooms. Medical room. The nurse's office just needs to be silent. So no, not adjacent to loud rooms, rec rooms, workshops, ritual rooms, or classrooms. That's perfectly fine, actually. Even the upgraded ones just need pristine, no negative luxury items, and to be private, only 1 point of entry. So, as far as the shape of the room, that is just fine. So we're going to go ahead and put a roof on this. That way, we can control the wonk. When it rains, we won't have issues with things getting damaged. I'm going to put a roof on all of this, actually. Let's take a look. One of the hardest keywords to do is grounded. Because it needs to be, well, on the ground. So let's take a look at things that need to be grounded right now. Kitchens in this playthrough. These can be randomized, the keywords. That depends on your architecture style. One thing I'm noticing is the kitchens. So, with that in mind, I think this will become our kitchen. It's on the ground floor. Ground floor until we unlock foundation is pretty scarce. So this can be our teaching room. What does a classroom need? Just the basic ones. Don't need any keywords, actually. Just chalkboards and different furnitures and stuff. So this should work just fine for our classroom. We have medical beds available. Like to see that. Teaching. So this is going to be our classroom. So there is our learning stone. And let's finish off the roof. I like the look of that wonk. Furniture, enchantophone. Okay, we are working on those windows, so let's check the lighting actually here. Well lit, dark. That's going to be a bit of an issue. We are also going to want to build a wand shaper. That lets us craft wands, which we need to summon students. Right, looking good. I think so anyway. Since we do have our first medical bed ready to go, I think it's time to do our first combat here shortly. What time in the day is it? It's getting kind of late. They're probably going to need to sleep here soon. Yep. So let's wait till after they wake up, and then we'll do our first combat. Actually, we'll let them eat. We'll cast the repel fog ritual, and then we'll do the combat. In that order. I think that'll be a good way to handle it. See if we can't hunt a couple of these dire rats. There we go. All right, and this is a basic classroom already. I wonder why I can't see the sleep meter above this guy's head. It's kind of weird. Okay, and they're helping build our wand shaper. You can look at what the type of task is. It's being assembled. So assemble is different than construct. Construct is like walls, foundations, roofs, floors, and that uses earth magic. Assemble is furniture and such. Placeable workstations. And that uses air magic. All right, so they already ate. Let's do that repel fog ritual. Just need to gather some gut berries for the ritual. That's what Ned's doing over here. And then do the ritual itself. We're still doing okay on wood. All right, so that's done. One of them leveled up. That actually will help us in this combat. Let's start this battle. They have inflicts critical hit when hitting mages with armor. That's kind of annoying. That makes our tank Isabel less effective for sure. But it still shouldn't be that bad. They're guaranteed to do double damage, but we'll see what their damage actually is. Let's see, their damage is 10. So they're going to do 20 instead of 10. So armor still might be useful. Because they're going to gain 57 armor. Yeah, it's still going to be useful to protect her. Because she only now took damage. That thorns should kill them next time. Because they have a 90 max XP, so should do 9 damage. So we can go ahead and put growth on another spot instead. See, then they died to that. We can even swap these two to position. Another earth armor, just to protect us. It's going to do 32 damage and kill that one. Excellent. I think just swirling vines for the higher damage. Oh, and they crit and got a mana burst. Humans have a chance to get a mana burst, which means their spell didn't cost mana. That was all very good stuff. All right. So Isabel does need medical rest. They did get hurt, but no fear. We do have a medical bed. How is our research coming for windows? Not great. I think we're going to have to put a few wall torches in. It would have been nice to have windows unlocked first. Because these wall torches actually have a negative luxury. And remember, the medical room eventually will need to be pristine, which means it can't have negative luxury items. So that just means we're going to have to replace those windows, those torches at some point. But I really don't want to deal with any void shrooms. So on that note, we're building stuff. Building torches. For now, let's set the priority of this guy assemble a little high so that they build those wall torches for us. Let's look at our lighting. Yeah, void shrooms are spawning in like less than 4 hours. No research selected. So we can fix that. Where's the research button? Over here. I think getting some basic rituals that will allow us to hire students once we have students. But that'll be a good next thing. And just to queue up a few more, I do think I'm going to queue up what we need for that kitchen. Where is that? Sizzling Flames. So even building that one did slow down when the void room is coming. So if we can get at least one built in each room, that will help. Just to make sure it doesn't happen, I'm even going to take them off of research duty for just a moment. I just don't want void troops. If at all possible to avoid. Oh, we do have windows available. Awesome. We also have magic mirror and plain beds. So let's go ahead and get rid of a cot. We can actually put some of the beds here and they'll still have a path to walk. Okay, how is the lighting in here? Still only dimly lit. Once we get that window in there, it'll be much better. Mana drain. Did we have a void shroom? We did. Dang it. We were trying to avoid that. We failed a little bit. No recipe selected. Well, I think our next mage is going to be a fire mage to help us cook. So we're going to put on a queue a recipe for a fire wand. No research selected again. Already. Let's fix that. Sure, rustic dining. And a pantry would also be nice. So now we'll have a dining table, which will help us out, and a pantry that stores a lot of food stuff once we get there. A spectral rift has appeared. All that means is we need to go in here and do this combat before well, this one's going to be a torch snuffer. Different types of ghosts can spawn from those until you destroy it. The torch snuffer goes around destroying your light sources. These guys' special ability inflicts tunnel vision when hitting mages. What does that do? May only cast direct damage spells in battle. That's not the worst thing ever. I still don't want to get any torch snuffers to spawn, because destroying my lighting sources, my windows, and my torches, not fun. Let's see. It'll just be a very basic combat this time, I think. Oh boy, tunnel vision. Why can't we cast earth armor? Oh, tunnel vision. Okay, well, that really limits our options, but so be it. I'm going to do this just because it's enough to kill him. Smash. Oh. Sure. Growth, why not? Pass. Oh. And some swirling vines. There we go. Probably going to want to get a few more medical beds here. Probably sooner rather than later. We're missing phoenix flowers for that, though. Phoenix kiss, rather. We do have our fire wand now, so once those sleepy mages are done resting, we can go ahead and summon a student. All right, just waiting for these guys to wake up. Really? They paused because rain was falling for the first time. So it's letting us know, hey, you better bring your stuff inside if it's not. And it's not. We would probably want a few more of these chests, to be honest. That have room to store all that stuff. Thankfully, we're not going to get damaged at all because of the fact that we have roofs above all of our rooms. Let's go ahead and summon and initiate, though. I don't think Victor's doing much important right now. So they can summon and initiate. So we need to add to the queue. We only have a fire wand, though. Yeah, some gut berries were getting destroyed by the raid. We didn't have enough storage space to hold everything, so that became an issue. So we're just at the student summoner, and they are going to summon a random student with a fire wand. If they end up being useful, we'll hire them and make them our cook. Vivified's probably not going to be the best for this. Let's see their stats. Fire mage really is good to have high mana. Some of their abilities, their combat abilities, it costs half their mana, but it does damage equal to that. And then power is also nice for them. They are a very damagey combat. So Vivified's really not great for that. So we'll probably just train him and graduate him. Or her, sorry, excuse me. But we'll make another fire wand. We'll get some other wands going in here too. We'll just queue them up so that we have them available for when we want to summon those mages. Let's go ahead and get these cots switched over to plain beds. They will rest better, like more efficiently. They'll regain their sleep meter faster. This says refills mana slowly and sleep, but this is very slowly. So even if the plain beds are slowly is better than very slowly. So be it. Let's go ahead and look at our meals. Yep, we want the vivified eat gut berries. That's just fine. We were going to build a new medical bed. We don't have the phoenix flowers for it. Phoenix kiss, excuse me. We don't have any available to really find. Can we get any of them through these rewards? Not this time. I do think I'm going to try for another fire initiate. That's going to be a little better because honestly, this one had some of the worst possible stats. Worst race, really, that affects their stat distribution for a fire mage. Wolfkin would be okay. A human would be actually really good with their mana burst ability and their high affinity towards mana. Wolfkin, not terrible, although they only got a C in mana and a B in power. That's another pretty bad mage. We're probably not going to keep them around. I don't really want to try for another fire mage at this exact time. Let's see, what is the... Requires a lot of wood to push that back. So, does it require less for the basic one? 34 versus 75. Okay. We'll do the superior ritual. We just won't take Ned away. We'll do Beverly, I guess. This will push the fog back quite a bit, and then we can be working on getting those trees so that we don't run out of wood. We could also get wood by doing some of this combat. We need more research. It might not be a bad idea to get catching from thunderstorms, or also working on working towards the quilted might be good too. So I think I'm gonna do that. The quilted are just little dolls that we bring to life, and they're basically just like robots essentially, but they look like dolls. The vivified are actually quilted that gained sentience somehow. I think that's what it says. Or at least a former quilted servants who somehow gained sentience. Yep, I about nailed that. But the quilted are basically like robots that can only do one specific task. Like you have a hauler that will just move stuff around from outside or whatever and move in the chests or whatever crafting station needs those materials. You also have sweeps, which will clean up messes. Messes left behind by things such as a gruel pot for cooking. It'll make the room messy, and if it gets too messy, then you have slimes that start to spawn. So the level of filth in the room. So having them handle those basic tasks that don't really need any skill to handle frees up your mages for other duties. Mark some of these trees for cutting. We even have some of these other trees here. So these bristlecone ones, you'll notice these sun shadow trees, when you chop, you get 25 to 30 wood. These bristlecone trees, 35 to 40 wood. So they are better trees. So that is useful. Still mark all of those trees for cutting. And that one. Croas are super annoying. They will come by and attack your plants. And when you kill them and leave their corpse, if you don't dispose of their corpse, it can summon a spectral Croa, which also is not good. We got a modest grave, so if somebody dies, we have a solution for that. We have our gruel pot, pantry, bitter rice plot, and bookshelf. Okay, well, let's get a bookshelf in here, because I think if we look at our room, we can click this, and we can make a room goal. I want it to be it's already a basic classroom. Let's make it an intermediate classroom. All it needs is a bookshelf. And that will increase our learning rate. So that will be very much so useful. We do have enough for another medical bed. I'm going to place it right there. Intermediate classroom. Awesome. Let's go back to our room tab. Click on it again. Let's clear that goal and select a different goal. Let's see if we wanted an advanced classroom. So it needs a chalkboard and either one large bookshelf or 4 small bookshelves. Well, we don't have the chalkboard unlocked yet, but that's something we can keep in mind to work towards if we want to go that route. Okay, this Maiden Jelly is actually a pretty useful thing. They have what they call refining beasts in here, and they have needs. And some of those needs is just attention, and only students can give them attention. Considering these pets that have a purpose. The Maiden Jelly processes non-humanoid corpses, like the corpses of dire rats and Croas, into useful ingredients. So that's how you can get rid of these Croa corpses so that they don't spawn spectral ghost Croa. So, yeah, that's very useful. Let's add a refining order. If you just bring 2 small carcasses, you can get 5 sinew. Well, let's keep that going until we have, let's say, 20. We add another one, viscera. Do it until, I don't know, 40. We can even set this one to 40. 40 and 40. And then ectoplasm uses a small carcass and a wormweed pod. It's actually pretty nice to have some ectoplasm early on. So we only have 7 right now, so let's just focus on ectoplasm right away till we have at least 20. And then they will use those carcasses for sinew and then viscera. So that's another use for, after we hunt these, they can drop sinew and viscera, but they also drop the carcass. So bringing it to this Maiden jelly, and that student was making them happy. And they will, bringing those carcass to the Maiden jelly will produce us other materials. Our spindle is done. Okay, let's look at our research. Odd window and recipe eyeball. Okay, so that uses the Croa corpse. So I'm actually going to go for that next so that we can destroy those Croa corpses at the Maiden jelly. So the Maiden jelly, their needs are only for affection. Some of the other ones require food or other things. And it affects how fast they will refine stuff. They also make a mess. So we do need to clean up after them. But a very useful little thing to have on board. One thing that I find strange is there's no room types, at least last I checked, meant to have refining beasts in them. So yeah, that's the thing. So I usually right now put some of them down below here so they're not affecting other rooms. There are some requirements that you can't have a refining beast in a nurse's office, maybe, potentially. Let's actually check that. So like a room, medical room, nurse's office, must not have research stations, crafting stations, or refining beasts. So there's no rooms that need refining beasts that I know of, but there are many rooms that can't have them in there. So that's why I usually shove them to the underschool to start with. All right, so they are a level 3, which is the max level for a student, but they still haven't got their fire all the way up. Sleep focuser without 4 days without getting very tired. That shouldn't be too hard. Defeat 3 enemy parties with recommended mage level 2 or higher. Okay. These are challenges that when we graduate or hire these staffs, they give us bonuses. So it is nice to do that. This one's going to be really hard. We don't have any recreation. Destroying 3 objects. Okay. Not too hard either. So if we just select Ava here, why not make them destroy that? We just force them to destroy 3 objects. They're going to be done with that task. What other object can I have them destroy that's not too important? A dire rat, perhaps? Oh, I guess I can't just destroy a dire rat. They can probably destroy the carcass of the dire rat. So we just need to destroy one more thing. Sure, let's destroy that ice flower. Completed Pyromania. We'll probably also go for this rested ritualist. Participate in a ritual while rested. So in the morning here, let's have them participate in a superior fog repel fog ritual. That will be very handy. Let's see what to go for next. Basic relic stuff is going to be very useful. Because once we graduate these, we will get relics once we graduate these students. This star means they're ready to graduate. They're fully trained and fully leveled up in all of their skills. So, with that, we're going to need a ritual room, though, guys. Ritual room. The assembly hall needs to be just have a ritual sigil. Auditorium must be elevated. So that means no adjacent rooms or foundation below. Well, that's not too hard to get. So how we're going to do that is just build some more floor here. That's as far out as it can go. Well, because it's lacking support right now. We can build a wall up here. And another roof. And that is now our ritual room. Once we have the ritual sigil in there, it'll be a ritual room, I should say. That is a bristlecone, not a phoenix flower, apparently. Well, it would seem that we need more phoenix kiss to build that ritual sigil. Phoenix flower, which comes from phoenix kiss. Okay. Are none of those? Okay, there is a phoenix kiss seed there, but there is no phoenix kiss. I don't think we even have the ability to plant those yet. So if we look at growth and soil, we'll get the ability to plant phoenix kisses. I don't even see it. Is it that far out? It can't be that far out. Maybe it's under something else. Yes, it's under the sizzling flames. But to do this tier 2 research, we need a mage that has skill level 3, and it needs to happen at least in a mage study. Let's go ahead and... Oh, we don't even have the ice petals for the windows. We're going to want to add windows here. So if we click on this room, after we select the room type, we can see the keywords. It's elevated, lofted, pristine, and open back. And we only needed elevated. So we're going to set that as the goal. Actually, we don't even need that. The basic ritual room doesn't require elevated. But since we're... Oh, excuse me. We're going to want to upgrade that to a better ritual room at some point. I figured getting it elevated right away would be a smart choice. Let's put in a window here. No more phoenix flowers are growing, apparently. Oh, there's some. That'll give us enough for our ritual. Wait, are we fully rested still, Ava, or not? Still barely fully... No. Rested rituals. Well rested. Okay, they still are. So let's... Oh, but we don't have enough viscera for the superior fog repel ritual. Maybe we need to go to our refining beast and put viscera up on our list some. Let's also build our spindle. I just like to put it down here for now, out of the way, and we'll put it on in a workshop or even a special place to build quilted later on. This Nexus gateway teleports you to any other Nexus gateways. We don't have any more right now, so that doesn't matter. And our ritual sigil is ready to be built. Let's check the lighting in this room. It is not lit enough. So we can put another window there to help that. And I'll probably move this window there just for aesthetic reasons. No research selected again. Well, let's keep this going, and a little support would be good because it lets us build these arch supports. Um, and so if we wanted this room to be wider, we ran out of support here. We could put an arch support here, and that would give this a little bit more support that we could go out wider. But now I bet Ava is not rested. Nope. So next morning, we will have them cast that ritual. I also think it's worth summoning another initiate. Let's go ahead and go for a dark one since we are built. We have that spindle built. Quilted carrier and quilted sweeps. We'll do 2 of each right now. The fog laughs mockingly. We have a new student. They're a dark mage, and they are human. Might be okay. It does dark magic casters in combat do cost some of their health. But it's a percent of max health, so even if they have more, it doesn't help a whole lot with that. I guess, say we cast it twice and they're left with 60% max HP. Having a higher max HP means they would have more left. So that's not bad. So at the end of this day, we're going to cast that ritual for Ava before we forget. Be good to go. That'll probably be the end of the episode, actually. So this pulverizer is used to destroy relics that we don't want to use. And this attunement bench lets us attune relics to our mages. And relics are dropped when we graduate students. They manifest a relic. And they can go in these spots if they have the appropriate affinity to that relic. And they give various bonuses to our mages. Relics become a very important part of the game to increase the usefulness of our mages. So even if you have a student that you don't want to hire later on because they don't have good stats for their wand type, graduating them still benefits your school quite a bit with the relics. So training students is always useful. You basically want to look out for ones with good stats and good races for the wands that they have in order to hire them for various tasks. I just want these guys to wake up and then cast the superior fog repel ritual before I forget so they can finish that trial. Then we're probably going to want to keep exploring the underschool. So, why is Ava sleeping out here? There's a bed right there. Can't they reach it? Well, they might not be asleep in that bed. They might not be rested after all. Yeah, why did they go to sleep out there? Sleep in the bed. What are you doing? Weirdo. You got a -20 penalty for sleeping on the floor. Anyway, superior repel fog ritual. Only the superior one can involve students. And we want Ava to get this trial completed. So be it. This represents how much of the fog is pushed back. So this should reveal quite a bit of it for us. There we go. All right, so Ava completed that ritual. Let's go ahead and graduate her now. Graduate Ava. You know, we're going to wait on Beverly just a little bit. They have a chance to complete some more of their trials. We just need one of our staff to do it. So, manifest a max level 7 relic. The max level is dependent on how many trials they completed. So, that's why we wanted that trial completed. It leaves a better relic. All right, so they are going to graduate. And they left a fiery sling. So whomever uses this, let's see, if I go to my relics thing here. So if we attune it to a mage, they have a +1 to fire skill cap. Very useful. Once it's at level 7, you get 2 Gnosis shards when gaining a fire skill or teaching a student who gains a fire skill. And Gnosis shards are a pretty rare thing that you get for graduating. I don't think you gain them from graduating students anymore. You used to. Now you gain them from pulverizing relics and Gnosis veins, and when mages gain a skill. So just when you're training your mages, you get them. And they are required to hire new staff. So that is very good. This plinth powers. Later on, you can build plinths where you will display your relics, and they have a school-wide effect. So this one is Fire Mage's work spells have a 10% chance to do +3 per cast. Also very useful. If we got them up to level 5 or 7, it'd be 15% chance for +4, and you have +1 a mage skill population cap. Right now, you can only have 4 staff, 3 staff fire mages, 3 of everything. To increase it, you need those plinths. So yeah, that's also useful. We don't have the plinths. And how do we level up the relics? You might be asking. Well, that is quite simple. We just have to have it attuned to a mage, and as they are doing their thing, it will gain experience and gain levels. So, only person that can attune to this is Beverly. And I know that because I looked at the relics and can attune Beverly. So, we go to Beverly, open her mage sheet, and it says relics. See this one here? It means there's one relic available that they can attune to. Might as well have them attune to it, even though we're going to graduate them fairly soon. It might gain some experience and level up the relic while she's still around. And you'll see as these students are gaining skills, we have Gnosis shards spawning here. Very useful. We can also pulverize the relics into Gnosis shards, depending on their level. So if it's something that's not useful, we could still level it up and then just crush it in these giant hands for some materials. Anyway, we are approaching that hour mark. This run is honestly going so much better than my relentless difficulty one because, well, apparently I'm not good enough for that quite yet. But even so far, I think we've already showcased a lot more of the systems in this game and some of the gameplay loop. And I really have fun with this game, continually expanding and meeting the challenges of the school. You have to get your mages happier and happier, increase their conviction in order to keep them from having a mental breakdown. And the reason you have to keep doing that is the way to malice. Malice, as the school grows and the mage score increases, the way to malice conviction bonus will slowly shrink and it'll eventually go negative. So you have to keep increasing the quality of the food available, the quality of the bedrooms, and so on and so forth to keep your mages happy. You can always check what that mage score is by going to your book of rooms. And mage stands for magic, architecture, growth, and exploration. So as this all affects the weight of malice. So as your students gain more magic skills and staff, it goes up. The more stuff you constructed, it goes up. The more stuff you've researched, the more buildings you've assembled, the more materials you have, the reagents, they have a small effect on it. And how much you've explored also has an effect on it. And the final thing is time elapsed. So even if you stagnate and don't do anything to try to keep your mage score low so that weight of malice stays low, time elapsed will still eventually increase the weight of malice, decreasing its conviction bonus for you. And you will start to have issues if you haven't been providing them with increased well-being things, essentially better food and such. So you got to keep up with that, or else you run into issues. There actually is an end of the game boss to lift the curse, and just a whole lot more rooms and things to build. I hope you enjoyed this showcase of Mind Over Magic. Again, I'm not the best at it, but I enjoy it, and I hope you enjoyed watching me explain some of it. If you liked the video, please leave a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you guys next time.